we're streaming. We've started streaming. I think we've begun streaming. I think we're streaming now. Oh God, we're streaming. Oh, hey, hello, hey, we're streaming. Oh gosh. Any Dockers? No, I don't have any Dockers. I don't have Dockers. I have a Nails shirt and gym shorts. I don't have any Dockers. Yas Queen. Let me turn this part off. Here we go. Why won't I review West Side Gun? I don't find his stuff that interesting. I also think the inflection in his voice is really annoying. I just don't really have anything to say about the guy. Maybe when he drops a project that's so big I kind of have to review it, I will. But I generally don't freak out over the Griselda stuff. I know some of y'all guys do, but I don't think it's that great. The Weather Day record, I wrote that and I recorded it today, so that review is happening soon. And if you guys didn't already know, it's our bi-weekly, every other weekly Q&A live stream. Going to be taking as many super chat questions as possible. Remember the $2 ones, I don't even see them pop up at the top, so that's just a bad idea to begin with. And the $5 ones disappear really quickly, so I'm sorry if I don't get to yours, but if you sent one of those and I missed it, you can always send your question, Anthony@theneedledrop.com. That's my email. And of course, like send a screenshot of your message if I missed it, and you could forward your question there. But anyway, favorite Muse album. I don't know if I really have a favorite Muse album, honestly and truly. And who has worse takes on pop culture, PJW or Ben Shapiro? God, I know Paul is at least like open to some hip hop and open to some pop, most likely, whereas Ben is just closed off to everything. All right, let's start taking on some of these. Do I agree with cancel culture? I don't believe people should be hated forever for past mistakes. The thing that I don't really like about cancel culture, or the thing that I think is kind of silly about cancel culture, is that it doesn't really work. I haven't really seen anybody who's gotten like a major cancellation actually be canceled forever. I mean, look at Louis C.K. Like, dude is still performing to huge audiences and has lots of love and, still getting quite a bit of work. I'm yet to see anybody truly canceled forever. So, what annoys me about cancel culture, what I guess you could call cancel culture, is I guess the eagerness to not let go of things that people have done in the past. If they have actually like apologized for those things, I mean, that's one thing. If people refuse to apologize or don't come to terms with shitty behavior, I think that's another thing. And then the other thing I don't really like about cancel culture is people's obsession with it. Like, because again, are we really convinced that Dave Chappelle is out here like really worried for the safety of his career? Like, how many fucking Netflix specials are there about people being triggered and blah, 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 blah? Like, clearly the backlash to cancel culture is way more popular than cancel culture itself. So, like, what is there really to worry about? But Cody Johnson, shout out to him. He has a great video on the whole topic. What are your thoughts when choosing a vinyl to display on the background for your album reviews? Sometimes it's random. Sometimes it depends on if it's an influence on the record that I may have be reviewing. Thoughts on the new Madeon music? I haven't heard it yet. Although is the new record out? Someone in the last live stream suggested that, and I don't know if the new record's out yet or not. Have I listened to the Near OST? No, I have not. I'll put it on my phone though, and I'll check it out later. Thank you very much. Check out the new Scarlord. No, I did not. Does it sound like every other Scarlord album? Is he just screaming over trap beats on it? I mean, you could always email it to me. Maybe I'll check it out. But if it's just him screaming over trap beats, I have zero interest. Thoughts on the new Tycho and Bibio album? The Bibio record I thought was okay. Kind of pretty, kind of folky at points. I didn't listen to the Tycho, though. I've never been a big Tycho guy. But the Bibio I thought was pleasant while it was on. But it just really failed to stop me in my tracks, sadly. Quick Eric B. on Rakim Worst to Best. God, I don't remember all their album covers off the top of my head, especially their later stuff that that I'm not well versed in. So I don't know all the records off the top of my head, but Paid in Full is probably my favorite. Hey man, love your work. Is Amy Winehouse's Back to Back a classic? It's certainly a classic pop record, for that decade. Certainly one of the better pop stars of that decade, and tragic that she went out the way that she did. I'll say that. Thoughts on the new Tonight music that's on the way? What do I expect? I don't know if they're going to do another banger trap record, especially since Serpent was so weird. I enjoyed Serpent, but it's really kooky. So I don't know if I really expect anything other than them to probably do something a little odder and disappoint most of the people who were into their stuff when it was trendier. I don't know what I would like to see from them, though. I can't say. Dylan McMahon, thank you. I guess I would like to see a longer record for one. An actual album, not an EP. Did women totally dominate 2019? Wise Blood, Charlie, Lingua Ignota, Lil Sims. They certainly kicked ass. I'll say that. They certainly kicked fucking ass. Uh-oh, Stinky. Okay, Dean, Amiel Blue. Thank you for the 1999, aka 20. Ow! Uh-oh, Stinky. Do I think that R&B music has lost its touch? No, I don't think it's lost its touch. And even if it does go back to its roots, if you know what I mean by that, do I think it will pop off? No, if it goes back to its roots, it will not pop off. The sad, atmospheric, more alternative sound is what's popular now. Although I think with R&B being as popular as it is currently by way of that, a lot of shades of R&B, even more classic sounding stuff, are more popular as well. So it's all kind of like caught on a little bit at many different levels. No, I don't think R&B is in a bad way. The extent to which R&B is bad right now, it's when artists make subpar records that are just trying to feed into those really trendy, cliched stereotypes that, you know, basically artists who are trying to copy Bryson Tiller or The Weeknd or whatever. And not that those artists are bad in and of themselves. Obviously, they're innovators. But people are just trying to chase a trend here, just trying to sound like the next Drake or whatever. Because Drake does, you know, obviously he's popularized a lot of, these alternative R&B sounds with his early stuff, like on So Far Gone. People are trying to, you know, chase after that next Drake sound or whatever. That to me is annoying and cheap. Favorite Mark Kozlik project, album, and song? I think it's probably either Benji or Common is Light, honestly. As far as like, you know, solo stuff and recent Sun Kill Moon stuff. What do I think about Todd Rundgren? I don't really think that much of the guy. I mean, I know he's a good songwriter, and he's got some hits from back in the day that I vaguely remember being good. And I know he's a talented dude. But I never really got into his catalog. And thoughts on his cover of Strawberry Field. I don't even think I've heard that. But Todd Rundgren is surprisingly someone whose back catalog I've never really gotten into over the course of my whole music nerddom. Melon, please make a full review on Opeth's Kata. I'm probably going to put it in the next Why You Know review. I don't really have much to say about it. I don't think it's a masterpiece. I just think it's another prog record, another so-so prog record from the band. I don't think it's all that stupendous. Maybe it's a little more theatrical than the band's last album, but I don't care for the super pristine production. I don't care for the singing. Some of the guitar riffs and the sinister guitar harmonies throughout the album are pretty cool, but outside of that, I really, truly do not get much out of the LP. Swedish version, I think, is a little cooler than the English version, though. Thank you, A. The best Roots album, rate your top three. Probably my top three Roots albums are Things Fall Apart. Definitely that one. I don't know. I kind of have a personal soft spot for Do You Want More, honestly. And I think Undone is really sick, too. Those are probably my three favorites. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Worst to best Eminem in the future? Probably not anytime soon. But best would probably be Marshall Mathers LP, and the worst is probably Revival. Hands down. Melt Yourself Down dropped a new single today, and you must review their next album to make up for not reviewing their sophomore LP. Well, that depends on whether or not their new album is boring. I thought the sophomore LP was not all that interesting, and in retrospect, going back to it, I know I did miss it at the time. But if the record interests me, I'll talk about it. If it doesn't, then I just won't have anything to say. Nick Cave's I Need You is one of the most brutally honest songs concerning loss of a loved one. Oh, is that really being addressed in the way that it is on that record? Okay. And that's not a bad thing. I am looking forward to talking about and listening to the new album, so I will be trying to do that this week. Tears of Heaven. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to be talking about that new Nick Cave record. My good friend Nova Miller dropped her new single today, Do It To Myself. I've mentioned her a few times. Check it out when you can. Okay, I'll put it in the phone. Nova Miller. Thoughts on the new girl band record? That's going to be in the new Why You Know review. It's an okay noise rock-y record. Have I listened to M83's new album? Yes, I think it's uninteresting. I have no idea why M83 is in this like really weird bad music patch. The whole prog synth direction is awful, and I just don't get it. I don't get the change in sound. While I do enjoy some artists and records that are in that vein, you know, I love some Tangerine Dream. I love that shit. But I personally do not care for M83's pivot on this sound. I don't think it's all that good at all. Will I ever do another Kanye Madness bracket again? I mean, I kind of did one of his most major tracks. I don't see why we have to do another, truly and honestly. What day was it at the gym? And do you wait? What day was it? What day at the gym was it? And do you? I don't know what day at the gym it was. And do you use protein powder or supplements? There's a Vega vegan powder that I've used before that is pretty good. More It's Food, maybe one day. Favorite Animal Collective album? Probably either Sung Tongs, and I kind of dip between Strawberry and MMP. Got that one. I got that one. Do I think Travis Scott will stop phoning in his songs and features? When do I think JIK is going to be released? No idea on that. And I think Travis Scott will stop phoning them in when his sound is so trendy that it just allows him to basically put in the least effort possible and still like sell tons of fucking records and get lots of streams. Any thoughts on the Hatchie album that came out earlier this year? I didn't notice any Why You Know reviews. I don't think I've heard it. Did I hear it? I'm not even sure I heard that record. Hatchie record, the new Hatchie record. Hatchie. I'm not even sure I listened to that or listened to it all the way through. Yes, I've only heard little bits of this, but I don't even recall anything from it. I think I heard it first on Bandcamp and just kind of drifted off into something else when it wasn't doing anything interesting. Maybe I'll try it out again, but I don't really have any thoughts on it right now. What are my thoughts on Jungle? I think they have a few decent dancey tracks. There were maybe a few songs, I think, building up to their last record that I thought were kind of cool, but generally, I don't think they're that interesting of a group. I don't recall I ever talking about them. Yeah, I'm not really that interested in Jungle, honestly. I caught a little bit of their live set once, I think when I was at I think at Primavera Sound, if I remember correctly. And, not bad live or anything, but I don't know. I don't find their particular brand of dance music all that intriguing. I don't think it's that bold or standout or unique. Good grooves, though. Some good grooves. I should check out the XTC EP if I haven't. Is that a new one? I'm not sure. Do I think Kendrick Lamar can wow us again with a new album? Yes, unquestionably yes. Do I think he really has any more to say? Yeah, I think so. I think he had a lot to say on Damn. I don't think the record was mediocre for a lack of things to say. And I think he definitely has another classic in him. We'll see. Do I still take album submissions for reviews? Yes, Anthony@theneedledrop.com. It's my email. Boop. Any chance I will do a collab review with Grady Smith for a country album? I don't know. Maybe one day. Hit him up. Tell him to DM me. We're following each other. I haven't heard much from the guy. He seems like he's, in his own little country bubble, and that's cool. He's feeding his audience. He's feeding the country streets. He's doing what he's got to do, and I respect that. So, I don't know. I'm not as big of a country nerd as he is, so I don't want to step on the guy's toes or pretend to know something I don't by hanging out with him. I don't know. Depends on what he wants. Have you listened to Funk by Rafa Rodriguez? No, I have not. I'll put it in my phone. I hope it's good. Since I really like Caroline Polachek's singles, what are my thoughts on the Chairlift records, especially their... I thought Chairlift was just okay. Chairlift was not that interesting outside of a few songs, but I am loving Caroline going solo. So I don't know if I have much more to say than that. I'll just leave it at that. Chairlift I thought was just kind of a somewhat mediocre indie pop band, and looking forward to hearing Caroline kind of like really come into her own on this new solo record, because everything from it so far is sounding great. When will the delusional Yang Gang realize that Andrew's version of UBI won't actually help people in poverty? Much love, Bernie 2020. I think that is not going to be realized because the demographic of people who are craziest and most interested in the UBI are exactly the demographic of people who will benefit from it the most. Those people who already are coming from a space of at least a somewhat decent economic advantage over the poorest people in our country. The mere fact that the UBI doesn't stack with things like WIC literally programs to keep pregnant women from having their babies die of starvation is fucking ridiculous. And, to me, points at a very obvious blind spot in Andrew's policies and focus when it comes to UBI. The new Scarlord album is like his other stuff. However, the stuff that is different is the beats on one of the songs. He delivers a deep growl the whole time. Okay, I mean, I can't say I'm that intrigued based off of that description, but Scarlord, hopefully he's continuing to do his thing and his fans love it. I'll say that much. Thoughts on doing an album tier list video for the Beatles, Mastodon, Led Zeppelin? Next tier list video, I'm not sure what it's going to be, but everything is on the table. I will say the Beatles, I would rather like to do a worst to best for the Beatles, but we'll see. We'll see. How do I think the first three albums of Kendrick and Eminem compare with each other? I think I prefer the first three albums of Kendrick to Eminem, truly and honestly. Even as good as MMLP is. And I do have a soft spot for Shady, but that record has not aged all that well over the years. It really hasn't. Did I listen to the new Tyler Childers Country? Yes, I did. Country Squire, thoughts. I thought it had some decent songs on it. I don't think he is as bold as some other more progressive and more, I guess, less corporate songwriters out there in the country field, but I think he's got potential. I think I'll say that much. I mean, I wouldn't say it's that outlawish, but I do get what you're saying. Like, he's definitely outside of the typical country mold, and I at least like that. I like that aspect of his stuff, but I didn't really find his songwriting to be all that standout, just in general, generally speaking. But still, again, I do like what he represents, and I do like that he's different, different than your average bro country or snap country artist. Do I think the first, I got that one. Thank you for doing what you do. I appreciate it all. But question, what is your opinion on the state of hip-hop now compared to what it was in the 80s and 90s? I mean, the state of hip-hop now is just mass consumption. It's just mainstream. It's the zeitgeist. In the 80s and 90s, that was not the case. I guess in the 80s, 90s, it was slightly harder to find awful stuff because a bulk of what was going on in the scene, or rather in the genre, was not mainstream. And as a result of that, you had a lot of stuff that was made with a lot of heart across the board. But now that it's mainstream and it's profitable, you have people who are jumping on the train just to essentially make the trendiest music possible that is just meant to be kind of bubblegum rap, essentially. And it's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. And, I guess there was more purity to the genre in the 80s and the 90s, whereas today it's like fused with everything. But again, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think that's led, honestly, to a lot of creativity. Obviously there are downsides to that becoming mainstream and becoming, so omnipresent throughout popular music. But you got to kind of take the good with the bad. I love seeing you get more vocal with your political opinions. Love, a revolutionary communist. Well, I don't think I've voiced any communist opinions, but I'm glad that you like my opinions. Also, there is an artist on the rise. His name is Josiah. He came out with a project called Josiah I Am. Okay. Diverse. Beginning track is Oprah. All right. I'll put it in the phone. But bam! I think I got it. Nope, I didn't get it. Now I got it. Thank you for the suggestion. Ashton Muhammad, ow! For the 20, thank you. What up, Mr. Drop? Got 3 new songs on SoundCloud. Check me out. Midi Kane. Oh, okay. What up, Midi? I checked out your last song a while ago. I will put this in my phone and I will look you up again, and I'll try out the new stuff. Last question for me. Thoughts on a needle drop channel for films? That would take way too much time. I barely ever watch any movies because I don't have the time to watch any movies. So it's like that would probably be a terrible idea. That channel would just like fold in a week. Hey, Anthony, I know it's not your type of music, but what do I think of the new Men I Trust album? I'm probably going to talk about that in the new Why You Know review. I think it's pleasant while it's on. It's very sweet and groovy and light on the ears. The vocals are kind of nice at times, but I do not need 70 minutes of it. Like, by the time I hit track 10, I'm just like done. I don't need any more of kind of groovy-ish, Mac DeMarco type, sophisti dream pop in my ears after like 30 minutes or so. Like, once I've hit that point, I've just reached my threshold. Like once you've gone past that point, it's just a redundancy. Unless you're listening to the record like an ambient album and just putting it on in the background just to get a vibe, I guess. Which that's fine too, but I need a bit more, you know. Let me see. Glad to see you come a long way from the anti-SJW scene on YouTube and really inspired me to help me out. That being said, any interest in reading The Conquest of Bread? I don't know what The Conquest of Bread is about. You'll have to anthony@theneedledrop.com email me and tell me what the hell that's about, Ethan. Average Pit, thank you. Mwah. Is All of a Sudden I Miss Everyone your favorite EITS album? I think the one before that is a little better, honestly. Though I think the production on All of a Sudden is heavier and more, you know, there's a lot more atmosphere on that record, which, you know, is prettier, you know, brings a nicer vibe. But those, you know, that one and their previous one, I think are their two best. Have I listened to Jamie and Gerados? I don't, you know, it's funny. I've seen his name a million times and have typed it several times too, but I don't think I've ever had to pronounce it. The Horizon Just Laughed. It's a brilliant record. I've not tried it yet, so I'll put it on my phone and I will look it up. I don't even think I've heard a song from it. How would I rate Black on Both Sides? At least an 8 or a 9. The Ecstatic by Mos Def, probably a 7 or an 8. I'm also reviewing the new Robert Glasper tape. It's a tape. Is it a tape or an album? I don't know. I think Robert Glasper is okay. I find his fusions of jazz and hip hop to be a little bland, but I know he's a great player. And, you know, I love what he's contributed to projects like, you know, the new frickin' Brittany Howard record. But, and he was playing on there, I believe. You know, I hope I'm not fucking up on that. But I'll give it a listen. Put it in the phone. Have I heard Tommy Cash's album from last year? Yes. I thought it was kind of obnoxious, though it did have some highlights and some potential was shown. He's a very odd dude, but, you know, didn't blow me away from front to back. Any advice for artists that are trying to change their genre sound without completely losing their original fan base? How large is the fan base that you have? Look, I mean, if your fans can't stick with you through a sound change, especially if you come out on the other end of that sound change sounding good, I mean, fuck them. You know, you'll gain new fans doing something different, especially if, you know, if it's better than what you were doing. What do I think about the new Sebastian album, Thirst, out November 8th? I haven't heard anything from it. I thought the last Sebastian record was kind of boring, but I will keep an eye out for this one. Maybe it'll be better. But the last one I thought was just okay, you know, for a somewhat alternative dance album, I guess. I didn't really think all that much of it, frankly. I love you, Melon. My girlfriend and I went to your CT Live date and were behind the really annoying drunk dude, but the show was... Which dude was the annoying drunk dude? I forget. Do I recall? I don't recall the annoying drunk dude. There was probably maybe a couple of annoying drunk people there, but I don't recall the annoying drunk dude. But still, thank you for coming out to the show. Mwah, Devin. Mwah. Have I heard Jack Harlow's new album, Confetti? Not yet. Austin and I have been talking about listening to that album together for fun. And maybe when we do, I'll talk about it. Let me. Nope. Come back, Dr. Phil. Come back, Dr. Philip. Have I had a chance to listen to Cool Calm Pete? I asked a few streams back. I think I might have, but I don't think Cool Calm Pete really stuck with me. I did listen to all of the suggestions from the last live stream, though. I recommended Black Friday. Yeah, if you like MF Doom, you like CCP. Yeah, I don't think Cool Calm Pete really stuck with me, frankly. I did look him up on Rate Your Music, and I did try a few tracks. I do remember that because that is a weird name. But I did not come away a Cool Calm Pete fan, honestly. Is music 100% subjective? I think the enjoyment of it is. Like, I think there are aspects of music that are objective, but I think preference, you know, I think maybe a better way to put it is enjoyment of music comes down to preference, personal preference. Can someone make an argument for saying that Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen is better than Blacker the Berry by Kendrick, a big fan from India? I think that would be a harder argument to make because both artists are trying to send different messages, make different styles of popular music. There's not really a whole lot of overlap in comparison between the two. I mean, I guess you could say one's a political song and one's a love song, but whether or not you value one of those messages over the other kind of depends again on your personal preference. Certainly you could argue what you're saying almost anything is arguable when it comes to the world of music and saying what is better than the other thing. And you can make a compelling argument too. Sure, you could argue it and you can make a compelling argument. But again, at the end of the day, your argument is still going to be based on your opinion and your personal preference. And thank you for watching. Hey, Melon, here's a hypothetical. Kanye sends you his new album ahead of release. Do I like it? And wait, you like it and would give it an 8. Kanye offers you $5 million to review it out of 10. What do I do? I just say thank you for having the album to me early, and I would give it an 8. Because it's not worth it. Doing something that would cause you guys to distrust me is not worth it. And surely that sort of shit would come out. Since reviewing Slaus and Malone, have I checked out other Standing on the Corner stuff? In preparation for the review, yes, but I haven't heard any new stuff. If so, any thoughts? I thought it was kind of cool what I heard. It definitely gave me an idea what I was getting into with the Slaus and Malone. If not, I'd recommend Red Burns, Lush, Abstract, Diverse Sound Collage Project. Okay, I'll put that on my phone. I'll try to maybe give that a deeper listen. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. Excuse me. Come back. Wait, I got that. Anthony, I hope you see this message this time. I've really fallen in love with Leon Vinehall. His record, Nothing Is Still. Amazing listen between his former house and dance discography. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you love it, Luke. I'm glad that you love it. The new Lou the Human record, I'm pretty sure I talked about it in the new Why You Know review. You should watch that over there. I didn't care for the singing on it. And thoughts on the new Slater, I'm going to be talking about that in the new Why You Know review as well. A lot of Britney worship on the record, some good songs, some bad songs. It's a mixed bag, y'all. And as far as artists who are kind of revamping 2000s dance pop, I think there are more interesting projects out there, but Slater still has an incredible amount of potential. Again, Leon Vinehall, I'll check it out. I've not heard of this artist before. I will give it a look. I will give it a try. And thank you very much for popping in. Have I listened to Buena Vista Social Club? I know I have, because I've gotten a few suggestions about it in the past, but again, every time it just sort of it gets thrown at the wall and it just slides down. It just does not stick. I just really have no feelings on Buena Vista Social Club as of right now. Will I review the new Menzingers record? It's been a long time since the Menzingers came out with a record I thought was interesting. I don't know if I'll have time to listen to the new record. I guess we'll see. Who is, in your opinion, the best Wu-Tang Clan member? Who's my favorite? It's either ODB or Ghostface. London show when? One day. Not as of right now, though. Maybe next year at some point, late in the year. I guess we'll see. Fuzzy Dunlop, ow, with the 20. Thank you. Do I see a similar reaction to trap rap in the same way post-punk reacted to punk with people like JPEG and Vanguard? I think it's a decent, reaction. Currently, I think hip-hop is in a bit of an 80s period where you have this incredible, huge arena-sized mainstream going on, and simultaneously you have this really grimy, punked out underground functioning all at once. And yes, I think JPEG Mafia is definitely kind of hip hop's answer to punk in a way. And anybody who's operating on a similar plane, in terms of sound or ethos. Is A$AP Rock slept on? I think in this decade a little bit. Definitely more than he should be. I think his last record is easily one of his best. I think Labor Days is another one of his best. What would I put in the third spot? I don't know, but I think he's definitely slept on a little bit, especially when white rappers come up. I don't think he's brought up enough. I think I recently gave another shot to The Big Day. Not only was it worse than my vague memory, but I also saw a lot of thematic similarities with that Paula album Robin Thicke dropped a few years ago. That's weird and very sad. Do you think it's possible to listen to Kim Petras' discography knowing she willfully works with a shady figure on all of her tracks? Yeah, again, I don't really care for her producer, obviously, and the whole Kesha thing and all that. Makes me unhappy, disappointing. I personally think it's possible. I just wish she would maybe move on to greener pastures and hopefully work with it, And she seems like a talented artist who has a pretty big platform and image. I don't know if she's contractually obligated at this point, to be working with who she's working with. But I won't personally hold it against her because I think she's a worthwhile artist. I talked about the new Slater record. Joe, thank you very much. Evo, what's going on? Hey, I haven't heard from you in a long time. You got my email. You should email me, dude. Howdy, Melon. Much love to you. Did I ever get a chance to listen to the new Velvet Negroni album, Neon Brown? I think I heard a little bit of it. It has that yellow cover on it, right? With like it's like kind of square shaped. I need to. I'll give it a try. But yeah, email me. We'll catch up. I know we were working on some Cal tracks a little while ago, and that sort of fell off. But I hope you're doing well, and I'm really happy to see you stop in. Thoughts on Return of Forever Nowadays? I still think it's good. I don't know if it's as good as the double album that Crit just dropped, but it's still a good tape. It's still a really good tape. Definitely one of the better tapes of the decade. I would take it over Undone personally, album of the year. Yeah, I prefer it to Undone, definitely. Also, thoughts on A Piece of Strange, top 10 rap album ever. God, what is... let me refresh my memory. Is that the... Cunning Linguists record? Yes, it is. I think that one's decent. Obviously their best record, but I've never been like a giant Cunning Linguists guy. They're most definitely talented. No is one of the better hip hop producers out there, hands down. But they're not one of my favorites. They're not one of my favorites. Respect, mega talent, and certainly one of the more unique Southern hip hop acts out there, period. But not one of my personal favorites. I'll say that much. I got this last. Oh, come on now. Yep. What is my opinion on Julian Casablancas being a total jerk to me? I met him backstage at Government. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's not a surprise to me that Julian Casablancas is a little bit of a jerk, a little pretentious. He's been a rock star for decades now, and everybody is on the dude. Doesn't surprise me. I would just let him be a jerk. I feel like at this point he's earned it. He's a vet at this point. He's been doing this for way too fucking long not to be jaded and unhappy. So don't be surprised when Julian Casablancas is a jerk, and I guess just let that man be a jerk. Greetings, Melon. A while ago, I recommended you check out a favorite band of mine, Bella's Bartok, and their record Change Your Life. I don't remember that. Did I read that out loud? I'm going to put it back in my phone again. Change Your Life, Bella's Bartok. I don't recall that, and that's such a weird name. I feel like I would have remembered that, but Change Your Life seems really familiar. I don't know. I'm putting it in my phone right now. And I talked about Slater's mixtape a little bit earlier in the segment. It's probably going to be in the new Why You Know review, my thoughts on it. Did I miss it, or did I have anything to say about the new A$AP Ferg album? It's really more of an EP, and I thought there were some decent instrumentals on there, some bangers on there. That Wig track was kind of not all that good. Yeah, it was an okay release. It just pales in comparison to Trap Lord. He's yet to top Trap Lord, and that's when I feel like I'll talk about Ferg again, when he drops another major project instead of just an EP, and it's as good as fucking Trap Lord, if not better. Please give my new song Melt by Noah Sparks a shot. Okay, I'll put it in my phone, Noah, I'll put it in my phone. What would I say my favorite Rammstein song / album is? It's probably Sehnsucht, and it might even be Book Dich. That song's funny as fuck and goes hard as hell. Give my new song Melt. I got that one. Thoughts on the new Lou the Human one? I talked about that one that I mentioned in the new Why You Know review. Thoughts on the current alternative rock / emo / punk scene? Am I into any contemporary bands in the genre? Been enjoying the new Weather Day record, and that has quite a bit of emo influence in it. And there's also that, what is it, that Cosmic Hyena band, or whatever the hell it is. I need to recall the name, but I've been listening to a little bit of that, and I'm enjoying some of that, and that's definitely got some emo vibes to it. But generally, I think the scene is okay. I don't know if I have that much thoughts on it generally. I mean, alternative rock, emo, and punk, to me, still to this day, operate pretty independently of one another. What my thoughts are on each one depends on the one. I don't hear a whole lot of punk music today that stops me in my tracks. Emo seems to be thriving, but I think could use a bit more originality. And alternative rock, I do hear some of that here and there, but it's mostly dead in the water. Hashir Sori Yoka. Okay. I don't even know what to say, GM112. This could be the most horrible thing anyone's ever said to me or said about anything in my life, and it's right here in front of my face, but I have no way of interpreting it. I think I will copy it and paste it, and maybe try to put it, and interpret it later or something. But thank you, I think. Any good spooky albums to get in the Halloween spirit? Spooky albums. What's a good spooky album? Listen to some Lustmord, bitch. One of my favorite is Cleanse, Fold, Manipulate by Skinny Puppy. But I'd like to hear your fist. Yeah, I mean, you could listen to that. You could listen to some KFMDM, I guess, if you want to hear some darker industrial stuff. But get some Lustmord on. Get those creepy, dark, ambient, vibes going. Get those dark, creepy drones going. Either that or Sun Black One. Sun Black One is evil as fuck. After I said you should retry Charlie Puth's music, he said Marvin Gaye was the worst song he ever made. His new songs are worth putting on the phone. I listened to the new single he just came out with, and it just sounded like some really subpar alternative R&B. Like, I appreciate that he changed his sound up and everything, but it just still sounds really average. It's not as corny. It's not, like total garbage, but it just felt like very so-so. It just felt very run-of-the-mill to my ears. Hey, Anthony, I met you at your Portland show and was wondering if I had the chance to check out BB Wave. Thanks, homie. I don't think so. Did you suggest that to me, or did you put it on a thing and give it to me? I'm going to put it right here and check it out based off of that. But I don't remember all the suggestions people were giving me during those shows. I don't recall. I apologize, Carter. But I still hope you enjoyed the show. That was a really good show. That was kind of a fun room with everyone sitting down. Megadeth tier list. I don't think I have enough opinions on Megadeth's entire discography to do a tier list. Rust in Peace classic review might be fun, though. Overkill tier list. I don't think I have enough opinions on the Overkill discography as well. If I was going to do another thrash tier list, I would probably do a Slayer one before, Megadeth or Overkill, personally. Top 3 Maiden albums. What are my thoughts on post-Maiden? A lot of post-2000s Maiden is kind of rough. My top ones, probably Power Slave, Killers, and what else would I throw in there? Probably Number of the Beast, probably those ones. JK, I'm back. Thoughts on the new Y? I haven't listened to it, and I've never really been a big Y guy. I was actually listening to some Yoni stuff earlier, and it just kind of reminded me why I've never really been a big Yoni fan. Have I checked out Yoni lead singer's other projects like Clouded, Reaching Quiet, Jaime's? Yeah, I was just listening to Jaime's Basement today, and I'm not a fan. I do like Clouded, though. I think that's like a pretty groundbreaking for, ambient hip hop beats and stuff like that. But generally, I'm just not a big Y guy, just not a big Yoni fan. Just could never get into that type of hip hop. Since you liked the song Mardi Gras Beads by Parquet Courts, does this mean you'll actually like Real Estate? No. Why? Why would those two come hand in hand? I don't get it. I do like that song, though. I do like that song. But you'll have to. Thoughts on the new Earth album, Why You Know Review. I talked about it in the Why You Know Review. You must have missed it. But my thoughts on the new Earth record is in the Why You Know Review. It's in one of them. It's in one of the recent ones. But I just thought it was too stripped back. Just not enough going on. Can I recommend some... I got that one. Can I recommend some heavy albums that deal with really sensitive subject matter like teeth, glory, and injury, Losing Myself, The Origin, My Depression, really heavy albums? I know the new... I'm trying to... I can't remember the band. And REM Worst to Best, probably not anytime soon. But albums that deal with really heavy subject matter... Teeth, Glory, and Injury, Losing Myself, Origin of Depression. I know the new, or the last Touche Amore record, was all about, obviously, the lead singer's, I believe, mother, just, if I can recall, passing away of cancer, which was obviously pretty intense. And it is a very intense record. It's not a heavy album, it's not a metal album, but still dives into that topic in a really profound way. Do I think a music-based social media site would work? I know you were on Symbol and enjoyed that. I've been working on one for a bit, but I'm concerned about it because of the history of others. Yeah, I'm not sure at this point. I'm really not sure. Unless you could find a way to actually have people listen to music on the platform. I don't think having people go onto a platform just to share music or whatever is going to take off. Like people actually have to be able to hear the music on the platform, I think, to really keep people like engaged. How do I decide which albums are worth reviewing? Would you review a debut album by an underground artist that no one knows of? Yes, if I thought it was good enough to talk about, and I've done that before. And how I decide to review what I review is based on my personal interest of stuff that I've heard and you know, stuff that I've enjoyed in the past and stuff that my audience essentially demands that I review. That's kind of a mix. If I had to switch lives with a music artist right now and live out the remainder of their life, who would it be? Probably NLE Choppa. Shout out to NLE Choppa. Thoughts on Why Me, Why Not? I thought it kind of ran a lot like Gallagher's last solo record. It's just okay. Not really blown me away or anything like that. Just kind of a so-so record. Thoughts on Coil? I've never really been a huge Coil dude. Such a huge discography, and that's true. That's part of the reason why I've never been a huge Coil dude. Seems like an act you might have dabbled in. I mean, I think probably a little bit more last decade than this decade, but I haven't listened to any Coil in years. And probably the last Coil I heard was like probably on YouTube, just like checking out some random shit based off some recommendations that I was getting from people who I knew. But honestly, no strong thoughts. Am I going to do a Pink Floyd tier list? I would like to do a Pink Floyd worst to best, but I don't know. Maybe a tier list is best at this point. We'll see. And is Veteran a 9? Yes, I did kind of talk about that record growing on me in my year-end list for that year when I kind of put it in my top 10. And yeah, I would say it's about a 9 at this point for me. I would say it's a 9. Sgt. Pepper's and Pet Sounds Classic Review. Pet Sounds probably before Sgt. Pepper's. And there are other Beatles albums I'd want to review before Sgt. Pepper's, please. There's a British animated series on Netflix called Hilda. It's a phenomenal series on all fronts, and it deserves to be watched. One of the absolute best animated series of the decade, in my opinion. Okay, I'll look it up. Weird recommendation flex, but okay. Am I a fan of the Desert Sessions, and will I be listening to the new volumes? I don't know. I don't know. I have no answer to this. I will put it in my phone. I will do more research, and I will find out if I'm a fan of the Desert Sessions. And I will then know if I will be reviewing new volumes. Ever heard of Michael Christmas? Yes. I listened to his... No, wait. Yes, I have heard of Michael Christmas. He's a very talented rapper. And, you know, he's got some great flows and everything. But he hasn't really come out with a project that's blown me away. Isaiah Rashad's next project I am looking forward to. While I have found much of his stuff to be bland so far, I do think he has great potential. I donoed a while ago, just curious if you'll ever put out a review of Victory Lap. I'd just rather not get my hopes up if it's not coming. Victory Lap, the Propagandi record? I'm probably not reviewing that at this point, unless there's another Victory Lap that we're talking about. And if I missed your dono, I apologize. It probably disappeared and I don't know where it is. Melon, ever thought of reviewing any OG Vaporwave records? Probably not any OG ones, not for a long time. But, you know, still a classic week is possible. Also, thoughts on Gong 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 3. I heard a little bit of that record a while ago. Isn't that old at this point? And I thought it was all right. I thought it was going to be more interesting based off some of the hype that I had seen for it, but it just did not stop me in my tracks, honestly. Unknown American Primitivism. God, no. No, I have no recommendations for Unknown American Primitivism recommendations. I have no recommendations for that. I'm not well versed in that. No, I honestly, I cannot. The only artist that I've listened to extensively in that style, his name isn't even, is it Dave Van Ronk? I can't even, I could barely fucking remember his name. I don't even think that's who I'm trying to think of. But no, I have literally no recommendations in that. You will have to use Rate Your Music. I'm sorry. I have no Primitivism recommendations. So got that one. Is Mark Kozlik's current musical output boundary pushing or way over enjoyable? I think he's falling into a personal rut. Like obviously for himself, he's still unique in the grander scheme of things. But I think he's starting to kind of hit a bit of a rut in terms of like doing the same thing again and again. Oh shit. Come back. You missed my dono. I'm sorry. I don't know where it is. The $5 ones disappear, guys. And again, you can always email it to me, anthony@theneedledrop.com with a screenshot, and I will try to answer it there. Regarding the project I told you about earlier, yes, I wanted to go into more detail. Opening track is Opera, has features from Travis Barker and 6ix9ine. Okay, Travis produces some songs also. Okay, could be interesting. Thoughts on Adam's music, aside from the demo quality production? Yeah, I think he's okay. You know, he's a good songwriter. Obviously, his songs are good enough for like people in fucking Blondie to be covering them. Yeah, I mean, I think he's a talented dude. Adam's a talented guy and a very nice person too, as I've, met and hung out with him in person a couple of times. Shout out to Adam. Mwah. What are my thoughts on the state of pop music in 2019? I think pop music is fucking awesome. Charlie's album sold like 7K units in her first week, which is bleak for something so good. That is sad as fuck. I didn't know it just sold 7K, but that is depressing. It's very unfortunate that that is the case, but I don't know. Generally, I think pop music is sounding good these days. I think pop music is fucking banging. Any plans for a UK visit? Probably next year, I think. Maybe. We'll see, and we'll play it by ear. I was surprised to see you show up at Friendly Jordy's Clyde Palmer video. Yeah, he invited me. He just hit me up on social media. Thought it would be funny. Am I familiar with classic Australian bands such as Cold Chisel? No, actually not Cold Chisel. I've been to Australia a few times and have not been recommended Cold Chisel. Hold on. Wife's emailing me. Or rather texting me. But yeah, I've not heard of that band. I have gotten a lot of recommendations from people when I go over there, but have not gotten a recommendation for that yet. But I'll check it out. How often do you listen to music that is under 1,000 listens? Whenever I'm going through my inbox and just trying out demos that people have emailed to me, and I do that at least a couple of times a week, and that's probably how often I am. Do I give legit a chance? Yeah, and I share it if I think it's good. Do I think they're crap? Yeah, a lot of them are crap, but what are you going to do? People are, essentially when people send me their shit, like they're just starting out and nobody like starts out amazing. So, what are you going to do? I got to give people a time to kind of grow, everybody sucks at some point. So, the fact that somebody sends me their demo and it sucks, like you can't hold it against them because maybe one day they'll be good, Give Supla Balls and Bugs a listen. One of the best albums 2018. Every genre is pissed on. Okay. I'll put it in my phone. I'll try it out. You got to check out Waterboy by William Crooks. Okay. I'll check it out. I got that one. The New Radicals, Maybe You've Been Brainwashed Too, is the most beautiful 90s album that deserves more attention. Yeah, they had a couple of big hit songs, but I don't know if they were that interesting of a band, frankly, but maybe the whole record's actually good. As far as like 90s pop rock bands that actually had good albums, like definitely the debut Third Eye Blind record, REM had a lot of great stuff too. Pop rock and alternative rock, I guess. I noticed in your Strokes song bracket, you chose not to advance You Live Only Once due to it being too edgy. Was just wondering what makes it feel edgy. Just being overly loud and aggressive, in my opinion. Which version of New did Radiohead snap harder on? Studio version. What is your opinion on Nas's The Lost Tapes 2? Those tapes should have stayed lost. They are not all that good. Was there a reason I didn't put out a review? Yeah, because it's not good. It's actually kind of embarrassing. He should not have put those tapes out. If you want to have a positive memory of Nas, don't listen to The Lost Tapes 2. Thoughts on the Chameleons? They're a pretty fucking insane band, I'll say that much. Script of the Bridge is becoming one of my all-time favorite post-punk albums, highly recommended. Yeah, I tried out the Chameleons based off of some recommendations that I've gotten in previous live streams. And yeah, they are a very fucking out there band. Then another group kind of post-punk-ish that I've gotten a lot of recommendations for in live streams, the Cardiacs. Those two bands are definitely highly recommended and insane. Review my album Riptide's Sad Face. Why would you give me a sad face? You told me last year when I release You Can Do It. I don't just randomly promise people I'm going to review their albums. I will probably try your album out. It's totally independent, and I want to know which one is your favorite. Okay, I'll try it out. I'll look it up. But I usually make it... what's the word I'm looking for here? It's pretty much policy at this point that I don't respond to emails of people telling me, hey, in a year my album will be out. Will you review it? And I'm just like, yes. No, I don't make any promises to review anything without having heard the actual thing I'm going to review. I most likely will try it out, though, and that's most likely what I meant or I said, and I will, look it up. Desert Sessions are Josh Homme's personal projects that he worked on with the likes of PJ Harvey, etc. Oh, okay. All right. No, I'm actually not familiar with those at all. But all that sounds very interesting. Given the crossovers there, I mean, fucking Les Claypool and PJ Harvey, please. Do I think Immortal Technique, Gym Class Heroes, and Mac Dre are underrated hip-hop artists, or are they just okay? I think all are just okay, but each one, especially, I actually don't even like Gym Class Heroes, so let's not even say Gym Class Heroes are okay. But I think all three of them had their moments, you know what I mean? Like 2000s, edgy political rap, like Immortal Technique was amazing. Mac Dre had an amazing moment in time too. But like they have no long game. You know what I mean? Like Immortal Technique's newest stuff or later stuff that came after, Volume 1 and Volume 2, just really not all that great. Mac Dre also no long game. And Gym Class Heroes, no long game. Their stuff was interesting during the time that it came out, and it just hasn't aged the best. And their follow-up material just wasn't up to snuff. It just kind of is what it is. I recommend the Prince Daddy and Cosmic Thrill. Yes, that is on my calendar, and I was talking about listening to it earlier, and so far I think it's kind of good. If I get around to it, yes, I have been listening to it a little bit. Thank you, Dick Slap McGee. Sorry, last question. Thoughts on modern prog metal and whether or not bands and albums stand up to some of the prog work of the 70s? In my opinion, I have not heard a modern prog record that stands up to any of the stuff from the 70s. Which is kind of depressing. And I guess it matters how modern you're getting. There's like some early Dream Theater stuff, and there's like some early Porcupine Tree stuff that's like really good, but obviously that stuff came out not long ago, obviously not as long ago as the 70s, but it's not what I would call contemporary. You know what I mean? Like progressive rock and progressive metal that I'm hearing this decade, I'm yet to hear really much of anything that impresses me as much as the classic stuff. It just kind of is what it is. Hey, Melon, did I listen to any of the reggaeton Spanish trap, or do I listen to it? If there's a big single out and it's kind of making the rounds, I will try it. But haven't really heard too many albums back from front to back. Have I heard of Paloma Miami? She's a bilingual artist on the come up. Okay, I'll put it on my phone. I'll try it out. Whoop, whoop. TMBG's Lincoln or Flood for Classics Week. Maybe Lincoln. We'll see. Favorite prefab Sprout album. I don't have one. I actually don't own any prefab Sprout, so I cannot comment. I apologize, Torre, but I don't own any of their stuff. So I can't even claim to have a favorite. Boop. Adam Neely low-key announced a collab with you a while ago. Is that still happening? We thought we were going to collab, and we had a plan to, and then it just ended up like getting fucking fucked up, and we haven't connected again since. So I guess we'll see. Thoughts on Soul Wax? God, I haven't heard Soul Wax in a long fucking time. Their 2017 album from Dewey has amazing production with vintage synth jams, drummers playing simultaneously. It sounds kind of cool, I guess, but I've never really found Soul Wax's music to be all that bold, though I guess that's not really the point of their stuff. But I'll give it a try. Again, your description sounds intriguing. Do I think Drake lost his momentum after Views? I think Drake lost his momentum with Views. And if not, when do I think he's going to start falling off? I think he's been falling off. We are seeing Drake falling off, that we are going through the process of that right now. Thoughts on the new Men I Trust album? It's okay, sophisti, dream pop with some light grooves and some kind of cool Mac DeMarco vibes. We don't need 70 minutes of it, though. We do not need 70 minutes of that. By the time I'm at track 10, I'm done. I don't need any more. What do I think of Hobo Johnson's last album? I don't think it's great. I think it's better than. I think it's not as good. Rather, I think his new one's better. But still, I heard potential in that record, and I'm glad that was capitalized on. Can I do a Pearl Jam best to worst? Pearl Jam, I don't think is that interesting to do a best to worst on, frankly. Like, they have maybe a handful of great records, and everything else is just like so-so. And how bad is 311's new album? I don't know. I don't want to say how bad 311's new album is, because It might hurt George Clanton's feelings, and he is a 311 super fan, so I will sort of keep my opinions quiet about that. Highest in the room, please, for the culture. The review for that is coming out today. Just hold up. Be patient. Any classic album recommendations do I consider to be 10s from days of yore? No, I don't think Steely Dan, no Gets Gilberto, but I'm glad that you love it. It is a great record. Come back to Nashville sometime. I would. Nashville was a fucking awesome city when I went down there. I had a ticket, but I couldn't get off work. Oh, that's sad. That was a really good show, too. That was one of the best shows. That place where we played the end was punk as fuck. Thoughts on Jeremiah J. I think he is a very uninteresting vocalist. He dropped a new project today with, he's not the singer, the rapper. I do remember Jeremiah J. and he's been dropping stuff for a while. And I do appreciate his brand of abstract hip hop, but is he one of my favorite abstract hip hop artists? Not really. I guess it's cool that he's working out with L'Orange. Complicate your life with violence. I don't know. I'll put it in my phone. Neither artist has really blown me away in the past, but maybe together they'll kind of bring out the best in each other. Boop. Have I kept up with Toby Driver's output lately? I know Awesome was listening to his new stuff, and he said he wasn't all that into it, but he's released an IDM album under Piggyback Cross. Okay, an IDM record could be cool. I'll try it out. Put it in the phone. Have you revisited Playboy Cardi self-titled? A little bit. I'm still not crazy about it. I prefer Dial-It to it. And keep up the vibe check fit pics. Streetwear people appreciate it. Okay, cool. Am I wearing the streetwear? Is that what I'm doing? Oh, whatever. I'm glad you like it. Thoughts on the new Tegan and Sara record? I have not listened to it all the way through. I think every single so far has sucked. Most likely the record to me is going to suck. I just have no intentions to try it. I don't plan to waste any precious time listening to that album, honestly. They work better in context of the entire record. Maybe. I mean, I'm glad that you like it, but I just have no plans to listen to it. Have I listened to much Jay Huss or Loyal Carner? Loyal Carner, yes. I think he's kind of boring, honestly. Jay Huss, no. I will look up their stuff and see what they're about. Hopefully they don't sound like Loyal Carner. I mean, no offense to the dude. I mean, he makes some pretty emotionally potent music, but it doesn't really rate with me. Why don't you rate John Bellion? Because he is boring as hell. John Bellion is one of the most boring songwriters and producers working right now. Too much hype. Way overhyped. And there were tracks off the new record that were sucky. Freezer Burn. Thank you. Freezer Burn. Hello. Can I recommend 3 underground, preferably unknown hip-hop albums that really showcase insane lyrical skill? That is such a specific request. And they have to be unknown. Like, no one has to know them. I really honestly have no idea. I have no idea off the top of my head. Anthony@theneedledrop.com. Email me and maybe I'll have some suggestions there. But off the dome, I have no idea. What gear is in your listening rig? Do I have your speakers positioned in a specific way? How important is soundstage in your listening? Yeah, my rig is not set the fuck up right now. I've been pretty much listening on headphones lately because I moved my office out of another room, and I am thinking I'm going to move my office somewhere else from this space, but I just haven't had the chance yet. So it's just not even set up. And my speakers, I don't really place them in a weird way. I just kind of just have them front facing and just make sure there's enough space between the both of them. Thoughts on Love You to Death, the previous Tegan and Sara album. I heard that one and I didn't like it then. I didn't like that one back then either, because I don't really recall covering that one either. At what album do I think Kool Keith fell off? And what are your top 5 favorite albums with Mike Patton as the lead singer? Jesus Christ, I have no idea. Like 5 Mike Patton records off the top of my head. I mean, I have to think and juggle the whole Mr. Bungle, Fantomas, and also Faith No More discographies off the top of my head. I have no idea. I have no clue. I cannot answer that off the top of my head. Ambitious ask, though. Ambitious ask. But Kool Keith, I don't know. I mean, there was a point where just with his solo stuff, he just started putting out way more, I guess, quantity over quality, and then just kind of fell off by virtue of that. I just wish he focused more on just coming out with more quality stuff. And I've talked about the new Slater mixtape a few times. It will be in the new Why You Know review, and you will see my thoughts and opinions on it there. I don't know if I'm going to reiterate my opinions again. Hey, Anthony, I'm trying to get into field recordings. I don't know where to start. Jesus Christ. I don't know the best field recordings artists off the top of my head. Yeah, I have no recommendations for field recordings artists off the top of my head. tndaustin@gmail.com is Austin's email, and he's a bit more into that stuff than I am, and will probably give you some good-ass recommendations for that. Another artist that I have liked it. No, that's not who I want to recommend. Yeah, I've listened to literally almost no field recordings, so you're asking the wrong person. Ever listened to a band called? Yes, I have. They're not really my type of prog metal. I think they're a little overproduced and kind of boring. But I'm glad you like them. You know, I just cannot get into it at all. Any thoughts on the rest of the mutant scene besides Machine Girl, Girl Pusher, Deli Girls, Dream Crusher? I actually haven't heard those 3 artists, so I'll put it on my phone. I'll try them out. The new Machine Girl I thought had potential, but there were just too many tracks on the thing that just sound like Death Grips instrumentals. I just didn't really get the hype. Have you ever heard a band called Nod? I assume that's how that's pronounced. Nod or Gnod. Specifically the track Dunanian's Daughters. I really love your thoughts on this track. Please, please, please. I've not heard this track at all. I have no idea what this band is. And if this is your band, I'm going to be pissed. But I don't have any thoughts on it. I've not heard it. So I guess I'll look it up. I put it in my phone. We'll see later. Hey, Melman, should I go to music school? How much debt is okay? How much debt is okay depends on how much money you can make out of music school and how rich your parents are. So that's a personal question. And should you go to music school? I don't know. How great are you at music now? What do you want to do with a degree out of music school? What are you trying to learn? How do you plan to apply it? I think these are all things that you need to assess and ask yourself whether or not you should go to music school. There are a lot of factors that go into it. Also, what school is it, and can you afford it, essentially? Kirk Alton, Such Is Life, underground hip-hop with dope lyrics. You should listen. Okay, Kirk Alton. Good job recommending your own shit. If you're not recommending your own shit, who's gonna? Anthony, please check out the new Bambara single. Oh, they have a new single out? I did think some elements of their last record was cool. Didn't really hit me, but I saw them live with Daughters, and they were very good live. Also, what is one fast food item that I would like to have an Impossible vegan version of? I don't know. I think the Impossible burgers are enough. I mean, maybe more. I mean, I would say, I don't know. I mean, pretty much everything there is a vegan version of already. You can't say a chicken sandwich, a fish sandwich, a burger, there's kind of a vegan version of it everywhere. I guess I wish Taco Bell served vegan sour cream. That'd be cool, but whatever. Or, had vegan cheese on the menu. Heard of Seisman debut Tigers app. Started with 18-year-old production. No, I have not. I'll pop it in. Pop it in the phone. I'll look it up. One more time for my boy Jay Adams. I shared his project before his new one. Okay. Superhero origin story. I'll check it out. Hopefully his stuff comes back to me when I check it out. Have I listened to anything from the band Leprous before? I don't think so. One of the more unique modern prog bands around right now. Okay. I'll look it up. I'll try it out. I don't think I've heard that band. Never give an opinion on Lil Wayne again until I've listened to Dedication 1 and Dedication 2 at a bare minimum. Okay. Hey, Anthony, any thoughts on the new Pixies album? Love your vids, man. I've not heard the new Pixies record all the way through. What I heard so far I thought was just all right. The Pixies are still not getting it together, in my view. Lately, I've been really getting into MGMT's discography based on your praises of them in the past. Any other recommendations of a similar sound? Check out Foxygen. They're not exactly like MGMT, but also a very funny, quirky singing-songwriting duo with a lot of personality. Also some Flaming Lips, some 2000s Flaming Lips, because MGMT definitely takes a lot of ideas from them. If we support you on Patreon, do we get access to past live streams I've done when listening and people have suggested? I don't know if that's the case right now, but I will talk to Austin about that, and I will make sure that is the case. I know that patrons should have access to past bonus Let's Argue segments, and that should also be the case for excuse me, the live streams too. And I believe that should be the case because not everyone who buys into that tier actually is there live for the live streams. So we make sure to send those out to people so they can sort of see them after the fact. So I don't see why we couldn't do that. So I'll talk to Austin about it. I'll make sure that we are doing that. Austin, for the most part, runs the page, and we'll make sure that that's the case. Thoughts on gent? I think it's a pretty gimmicky, uninteresting genre. There are obviously bands that are pioneers like Meshuggah, whose early discography I think is pretty cool. But yeah, I don't enjoy it at all. I think the guitar tones suck. I think the riffs are really formulaic and not all that interesting. The grooves, which are pretty mathematic and very complex, are maybe the best thing the genre has going for it. But more often than not, I think the vocals that the bands top these songs with just absolutely fucking suck. Like these really soaring, like fucking castrato cleans. I just do not enjoy them at all. I think they're just absolute ass. Seemed like a meme, but I just got into it and enjoying it. Unprocessed put out a pretty good album this year. I might dig it. Okay. I'll check it out, but generally I think gent is just a very sucky genre. I hate to be that dismissive, but after years of gent being a thing, and even with some bands like Car Bomb, being a little bit of a fusion of metalcore and gent, and I think they're easily one of the better bands out there that kind of references that genre. But still, even them, I cannot really get that into their stuff. I just do not enjoy it. I just don't get anything out of it. Give me a fucking black metal record. Give me Transylvanian Hunger. I'd rather listen to that. Have I heard Seisman debut Tiger? No, I got that one. I'm not from the U.S., so it's hard to make sense of where a hip hop style is from. Could I rattle off some artists that are considered Southern? Killer Mike Crit. Looking for more of that. 3 6 Mafia is Southern. Outkast is Southern. Lil Wayne and Rick Ross are Southern. I mean, technically considered Southern. They're from Florida. Who else is considered Southern? Scarface is Southern, although I wouldn't say that his stuff is stereotypically Southern. Lil Jon is Southern. Goody Mob is Southern. I'm trying to think of who else is Southern. People should be fucking throwing, a bunch of Southern rap artists into the chat right now, please, for the love of God. Not that I can't come up with more on my own, but obviously I'm not going to name every single fucking one of them. Trying to think of who else is Southern off the top of my head. I would also look up Memphis rap in general, because there's like a lot of great, like classic, grimy, dark, almost like gothed out. I'm not going to say gothed out, but good Memphis stuff. Oh yeah, UGK. Jesus Christ, UGK. And yeah, Migos count. Trying to think of who else. And yeah, Travis Scott, but I think our friend is asking maybe for more classic stuff, maybe. I don't know. But 2 Chainz, yeah, 2 Chainz too. So there's a lot of Southern rappers out there. Google's also your friend. What subreddits do I follow on Reddit? Mostly just the Fantano Forever one, the Hip Hop Heads one, the Indie Heads one. Those are the ones I follow the most often. They love you on the Hip Hop Heads. Oh, well, I love them too. What food do I miss the most when I wasn't vegan? I just miss cheese pizza, just like eating cheese. But cheese is also like really fucking bad for you and pretty much like heroin. Yeah, I don't eat cheese pizza anymore. Also, these, like, when I have had moments where dairy has been in stuff and I didn't know it was, like, it really fucked me up. Like, gave me a huge fucking stomach ache. Because when you're not eating it on a regular basis, like, you kind of, your body's, like, not used to it. Did I listen to the new Lou the Human album? Yes, I talked about it in a Why You Know review recently, and I thought that the vocals were just, like, really subpar. I did not like the singing. I did not like the more atmospheric production. Just thought it was a really bad move. I liked that he was switching up topics a little bit, and I loved that he was, I liked the rapping on the record when he was rapping, but everything else I didn't really like. And someone was saying, really heroin. No, I mean, actually, dairy is quite addictive. You actually should look up the mental effects of dairy. Not that it makes you crazy or anything, but there are, I guess. aspects of dairy that your body sort of craves after you eat it on a regular basis. So dairy can, sort of have an addictive quality to it. And I personally know vegans who, or people who are trying to be vegan who can fucking not kick the dairy. They just can't. So it is honestly like, the hardest thing to kick, when you do make that transition, if you've been eating a lot of dairy all your life. Sup Anthony, any albums on par or heavier than Nails? No, I don't think so. Although maybe listen to the new Callous Dowboys record. It's a really good mathcore record. Album of the year predictions for the Grammys? I have no idea. No idea at this point. Igor? Can it be Igor? Wait, hold on. Also, do I think Jane Doe and what do I think of Jane Doe and Prowler in the Yard? Prowler in the Yard is classic grindcore. Jane Doe is classic metalcore. I own Jane Doe on vinyl. Not Prowler in the Yard, though. I think I prefer Terrifier a bit more to that one, but it's still a great record. Can I recommend any other metal bands that incorporate some noise music, like Indian, Dragged into Sunlight, Full of Hell? Fuck, what is the name of that band? Or that project? There's also The Body. There's The Body. There's a band, I think, from 2011 that I reviewed, and they made like some, and I get notifications for the time, and I think there's a picture of someone shitting on the front cover, and I just cannot remember it. Also, Pissgrave. I'll say Pissgrave. Pretty noisy death metal band. If someone already asked, I don't know if I'm planning to ask again, am I reviewing the new Melanie Martinez record? I have no plans on reviewing the new Melanie Martinez record. I just don't find her that interesting sonically. I think she has a lot of cool themes and concepts in her music, but vocally, songwriting-wise, I don't think she's that intriguing. Have I listened to the new Cat System Corp and Telepath? I've actually not listened to either of those. I'll put it on my phone and try it out. Blade Runner, tribal ambient vibe. Okay, that sounds kind of cool. But yeah, sadly, I don't find Melanie Martinez that interesting. Very overrated in my opinion. Again, I think that she has an eccentric look, and the themes and concepts that she puts into her music are certainly interesting. But I just wish the music was kind of up to the same level of creativity and originality. How much fucking money for you to roast my music, Melon? I don't roast anybody's music for money, but if you want, you can reference this this super chat. Email me, anthony@theneedledrop.com, and you can email me your stuff, and I may try it out. And again, if you reference this, maybe I'll try to take the time to totally shit on it. If that's really honestly what you want, I don't know why you would want that, but if that's really truly your desire, maybe I can make it happen. What do I think of Lacuna Coil? I've never been a big Lacuna Coil guy. Of Mice and Men and Seven Dust, yeah, I've never been a big into those bands either. Also, would you say Also, who would you say are the big four of nu metal? Love the channel. Big four of nu metal. Good question. Definitely Korn. Definitely Slipknot. System of a Down. And I would say Deftones. If we're picking bands that are like kind of good, I mean, obviously in a sense, like Limp Bizkit is a nu metal band, but they suck. So, I mean, and I would argue that Limp Bizkit for their time was one of the most popular bands out there. But if we're picking bands based more on like artistic merit, and how unique they were for the time and how influential they were for the time, those would probably be my four. Those would probably be my four. Sturgill review is still in the works. I've been listening to the record, processing it. Nick Cave, interesting time in his career. Ghosteen. What do I hope to see from his latest release, as it seems to follow from his last album? Yeah, I was hoping for a change of pace with this new one, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. If he's still in a forlorn state, I understand. And I guess I will kind of take that in stride and just kind of, listen to the record and hope that it resonates with me, I suppose. Will I be reviewing Ode to Joy? I don't know. I have no idea. Joe, thank you. What would I rate Mecca and the Soul Brother? Thoughts on Dr. Luke and Kim Petras? Why? Is there something going on with them now? I mean, I know that she works with him, but is there something going on between them? And I have no comments on the Mecca thing. But do I have to look up something? Is something bad happening to Kim Petras right now? Hi, Anthony. Thanks for all the great recommendations over the years. Curious, what do I think of PC music? Do I think PC music is a dead trend? New PC artists shouldn't bother. No, I don't think it's a dead trend. I mean, it was trendy at one time, and I think that it's I guess I could agree with what you're saying insofar as yes, the trend is dead, but I still find it interesting. Does the mainstream still find it interesting? No, but I still find it interesting. I still think there's a lot of artistic merit to what people are doing in that musical camp, and they're still breaking new ground to my ears. So I still fuck with it, you know. And I'll say that, you know, I mean, Sophie is still coming out with great stuff, you know, and her last record was kind of a big splash. So I don't think there's any reason to count PC music out. What would make Flockavelli 2 a classic if Waka were to release it? I have no idea, because I don't know if coming out with a Flockavelli 2 at this point would really be necessary, or really, like, you know, I don't think there'd be any such thing as a classic Flockavelli 2. Maybe if he waited 10 more years for Trap to become nostalgic and then came out with the record and people are like, oh yeah, I missed that sound. Maybe then. Asked this a month ago, but leave the stream. Any chance of your thoughts on Red Dead Redemption 2 soundtrack? No, I have not heard that soundtrack. I probably will not hear it. I probably wouldn't even play that game. Not that I'm against playing it, but I just don't have that console. And it's very rare that I play any games whatsoever. So yeah, I have no thoughts on the OST. I haven't heard it. Are there any power metal bands that I enjoy? Maybe a few from back in the day, but like a lot of the newer ones like Dragon Force and stuff. No, power metal is not really my bag. I more prefer just heavy metal, just straight heavy metal. Hey Melon, would I consider reviewing more Latin Spanish albums if they, you know, grab my attention and are interesting? Actually, somebody recommended to me Cafe Tacuba, and I was just trying them out a little bit earlier, and they sounded pretty cool. Although I have not heard of the other two artists, and I'll pop them in my phone. Bam. What's my favorite Lupe album and why? Probably his debut, Food and Liquor. And I just think it's his most consistent. I think it's his most well-produced. I think it's where his most tasteful rhymes are at. And not to say that he's gone completely downhill since then. I think his latest couple of records have been pretty decent. And Food and Liquor 2 is good. But Lupe, I think, is like really kind of lost his footing after, you know, lasers and all that shit. Sorry, Annie, you missed my other donation, but it's all right. Do you miss when people talked about the music you reviewed? All the really dumb and dank jokes get old at some point. People still talk about the music. They're just not doing it in the YouTube comments. And honestly, my channel is not unique as far as a channel of my size, and most of the comments just being like, you know, piss. People discuss the music and they discuss the reviews. They're just doing it on Reddit. They're doing it on forums. They're doing it on social media. They're doing it in other places. And just kind of is what it is. I don't think YouTube comments are really like the best place to facilitate a discussion. Do you have any additions or corrections for a friend's Rate Your Music list? Anthony Fantano, The Needle Drop, 10 out of 10 albums. Wicked, gooey, gross, thick Melon Man. Probably out of the records that I reviewed so far and some of the classic album reviews I've done so far, not really. You know, Beatles, Abbey Road. I think that's a 10 out of 10. Hey, Anthony, love your stuff. Will you be reviewing the new girl band album? I've been listening to it, and I think for a noise rock record, it's okay. I think it's a bit more visceral than their last album, but I still don't really find a whole lot of what girl band does to be all that interesting or distinct. I think it's another in a list of daughters. Maybe it is a little inspired by that, but if it is, it's a very watered down and not that great version of that record. In fact, I don't even really find them to be all that alike, truly and honestly. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that some people are out there really fucking with noise rock. You know, I'll say that much. But girl band is not one of my favorite bands in the style. I just can't really bring myself to really love their stuff as much as some people do. Have I listened to the new Sanction album, Broken in Refraction? No, I don't even think I'm familiar with that artist. I'll pop it in the phone. Let me check the time right here, 1:18. Okay. I got about 10 minutes left. Melon, listen to Moon Goons. They're essentially an American version of King Gizzard. Well, honestly, I don't really want to listen to an American version of King Gizzard, but I'll pop it in the phone and I'll see. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be good. Moon Goons. Sounds fun. Sounds creative. Favorite Oi and hardcore albums. I'm not much of an Oi guy. I mean, every once in a while it's fine, but a lot of Oi records I personally find to be kind of one-dimensional. Hardcore records, though, as far as like classic hardcore punk, Obviously, the whole Minor Threat discography, Black Flag My War, Dead Kennedy's discography is fucking amazing, in my view. Some Cro-Mag stuff, because I find them pretty, like, obviously they're kind of crossover too, but I think they're good. Hardcore fans should be listening to them undoubtedly. Trying to think of who else really stands out to me as far as like hardcore bands. Circle Jerks too. Love some Circle Jerks. I don't know if I have any more favorites off the top of my head, but there you go. I'll leave it at that. Hey, Anthony, hope you're well. Do I have any Photoshop requests today? Yes, all of my flannels on all of the albums. All of them. And the Travis Scott track review just went up. So after this thing is over in about 10 minutes, go check that out. How important do I think fidelity is in car audio? Not that important. I don't know. It's nice to have a nice set of speakers in a car, but you're in the car anyway, and there's so many sounds and noises going on in the car that will distort anything that you're listening to. So it's not like, even if you have the most amazing set of speakers in the car, you are going to be dealing with some kind of manipulation of the audio on account of the space that you're in. You know what I mean? Is it worth it in my loud fuckboy car? I want a good system. I mean, look, if you want a good system, the only thing a system really serves is like that you could drive around and play it loud, And if that's what you want to do, I mean, and that's fun, that's cool. Look, do you. That's not a terrible thing to desire. If that's what you want to do, do it. That's cool. Other than spamming your super chat, what advice do you have for up-and-coming artists to get their music reviewed? By me or by like other people? I mean, personally, if you get your music in front of me, the only thing that's stopping me from reviewing it is whether or not I think it's great enough to talk about. So I don't know. I mean, these days, for other reviewers and other sites, though, these days, a lot of reviews and a lot of articles and interest are based on whether or not you are building a following that websites want your fans to be clicking on. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I recommend less about trying to get reviews. I recommend less trying to get reviews and more just trying to organically grow from the grassroots, your fan base, by getting your stuff out there all over every platform, doing music videos, doing promotional stuff, to just get your stuff out there. Am I going to check out the new Gate Creep? Yes, I have, and I hate the guitar tone on it. I cannot stand it. It just annoys me on every record, on every song. I cannot listen to an album where the guitar tone sounds like that. I just can't. I thought the debut was better, though. Come on, man. You got to do a classic review of The Cure Disintegration. Maybe. I definitely would be interested in doing a Cure classic review one day. Thoughts on Animals as leaders. Don't really care for their stuff either. More prog metal that to me just is way overproduced and just not that interesting to me. The biggest fan of metal, overly focused on virtuoso guitar work, but wanted to know your thoughts. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's I've never been a biggest fan of that. Yeah, I've never been a big fan of it either. And Animals as Leaders is a band that because I'm not a big fan of it, I'm also not really a fan of them. But it is what it is. Have I heard Sybil Bayer? She's a German. No, I have not. I will pop that in the phone. Favorite got that one. Hi, Anthony. I've ever been to the Coast. Listen to The Coast is Clear by Beulah. Beulah? Probably my favorite indie rock album. I have not. I'll put it in the phone, though. Will I check out the new Lagwagon album? No, God. Is there a new Lagwagon album? Am I thinking of the wrong band? I feel like it's been years since I've had to think of Lagwagon. Favorite rental song? I don't have one. Melon, have you listened to the new Angel Olsen album? Not yet, but I do plan on reviewing it. What is your opinion, if any, on Lamb's Anger by Mr. Wazzo? Have I heard that one? Mr. Wazzo. What was the last Mr. Wazzo record I reviewed? I mean, he's got some bangers in the catalog, but generally not a huge Wazzo guy. Yeah, Lamb's Anger. I remember hearing a bit of that when I was starting out my blog and everything, but I don't really have strong opinions on that record. I don't even recall it, honestly. I remember having listened to it. because of, the stuff that I was covering on my website at the time. But I don't even really recall the record, honestly. I consider it to be a classic in electronic music and worthy of study and dissection. Hey, man, all the more power to you. All the more fucking power to you. Have I heard of the band Crumb? Yes. I think they're okay. A little too sleepy for my tastes. They're a good alternative dream pop band out of Boston. I think you might enjoy, from AZ. Yeah, I'm not that crazy about them. I'm not really crazy about it. For me, too sleepy. Excuse me, a little burnt out right now. Talking for 90 minutes straight. I'm just a little burnt. I'll take maybe a couple more. Thoughts on Kevin Morby's newest album? I thought there were some good kind of rock and roll type tracks on there, a little Velvet Underground influenced at times, but there wasn't really a whole lot about it that was sticking to me. I thought the vocals were kind of so-so. Have I listened to Balance by Matt Lockshaw? No. It's a great indie pop album. I think you'd love it. He played a festival I think he played the same festival as 100 Gex. Oh, that's cool. And I'm very excited to hear 100 Gex. They're going to be touring with the Brockhampton Boys. That's kind of cool. All right, I think I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you very, very much for coming in, hanging out, super chatting. Thank you, Bass God. Thoughts on Aaron Carter? He sucks, but I hope he gets well soon. New Abbott Brothers album, have not heard it. Review Glass Beach, it's on my calendar, maybe. Kim Petras, Turn Off the Light, that's going to be in the new review. Recommended math rock album, anything from Don Cab. Mac Dre was awful. Bruh, I just got here. Well, I'm sorry you just got here. I'm just gonna leave. Bat for Lashes and Jenny Haval. Jenny's stuff will be in the new review. I've not heard the new Bat for Lashes record all the way through yet. Prince Daddy, that may be on my calendar. No one has invited me on Chapo. Maybe talk about the new Poppy track. Yes. You're a cool guy. Thank you. No Turn on the Light, Bright Lights, classic review. R.I.P. Joe Rogan. Jesus is King Tonight. I have no idea. Men I Trust. That will be in the new review. Recommend Modern Emo. The new Weather Day record has some emo vibes going on, and the new Cosmic Hyena record has some good emo vibes going on. Lord Huron, no. Big L Classic Review, no plans on it. Black Parade, 10 out of 10, pretty much. Brand New, no. Angel Olsen, I'm going to be reviewing that this week. Swain Deserves a Lot More Attention, or Howl by Swain deserves a lot more attention, I agree. Common Worst to Best, not likely at all. New Danny Brown will be getting reviewed this week. Logic deserved a 10. Logic has never deserved a 10 ever. Chromatics Review, I've been listening to it, not that moved by it. I guess we'll see. Rites of Spring or American Football. Rites of Spring all fucking day. Sturgill Simpson Review this week, most likely. Opeth will be in the review. Frank Zappa Worst to Best, maybe a tier list. New Geschaffelstein, no plans on it right now. Biggie Classic Review, no plans on it right now. My wife left me. Your wife left me for me, dude. And we'll be seeing you at the lawyers for the divorce. New Billy Woods, yes. Pink Floyd Worst to Best, maybe one day. Where's Cal? He's in the Cal zone. New Swans album is not out yet. Sophie Remix album is 90 minutes long. I have not heard it. But brand new or American Football, I guess maybe, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have an answer to that. Conan Moxon, I'm not that interested in, but I kind of respect them. King Gizzard Worst to Best, maybe one day. They're still coming out with a lot of stuff, so I don't see the point in doing it. Smiths of the Cure, I'm more of a Cure boy. Viagra Boys thoughts. I wish I reviewed that record. I wish I reviewed that Viagra Boys record. It's really good, actually. In retrospect, I wish I reviewed it. Why no Lumineers review? Because the Lumineers suck. It's very boring folk music for car commercials. 99 Neighbors are okay. K12 review will probably be in the review. Old French music. There's actually a French artist I was listening to just last night that I'm planning on reviewing, so keep a lookout for that. Is Modest Mouse emo? I think there are elements of emo in their music, especially their early stuff. See You Space Cowboy record was okay. It might end up in the YNR review. We'll see. Does Cal have a girlfriend? Cal has 100 girlfriends. Thai Boy Digital review. I don't know. We'll see. I have not heard Salt. I have no idea what Salt is. I'll go check it out right now. And I will talk to you guys later, okay? I'm going to go check out the Salt. You have a good one. Anthony Fantano, music forever.